cheers and enjoy this. Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome back to the channel. With me, a Disco coming out here with another live beer review from in front of the cans and bottles here on the bar. I'm still sweatily calling the Disco Arms. Welcome aboard. Hope you've got a nice cold beer in for this one. I know most people are probably out enjoying what's left of the sunshine. I did a bit of that this afternoon. And went out for a little bit of a bike ride. Ended up at work because it was kind of on the way, and then ended up doing some work. So even on my day off, you know, such is the dedication to the cause. You understand. But yeah, got some cold beers on. Greetings if you are popping in. Henry 420 as always. Thank you, brother, for popping in to say hello. Hope you're going all right. Cheers with a star of prime and fair play. A little bit down the check beer list for me, but star of prime, worth a go, worth a pop. Good stuff and nice and cold. You know what I mean? This Pilsner will be all right in weather like this, won't it? Nice and refreshing. Howdy. And he's in live as well. Cheers, Henry. Cooler here today, not much sun. Yeah, there was not a lot of sun. There's quite a lot of kind of cloud here, but it was still ferociously hot. Kind of hot in the air, 25 degrees, so says the laptop. But yeah, cold beers, getting through the day, stay out of the sun, etc. as much as you can, and do as much exercise to justify the sweat. Not bad beer for sure, better than Stella. Weirdly, a very similar beer to Stella, but the Czechs have managed not to mess it up like Stella. Are you south or north more? Well, I'm northwest London, so I guess south-ish of the country, but yeah, northwest of good old Londinium. Yeah, not that far south. But I think the whole country's just kind of feeling the heat at the moment, as far as I understand it. But as we're talking about a nice cold beer, I've got some slightly random lineup again. I haven't gone with any particular theme. A little bit of a rush trying to get things done, so a lot at lunchtime I thought, yeah, I fancy a beer later. So I looked in the old beer stash, and I've almost grabbed closest three out of the thing, really. But I thought they kind of will line up fairly well. Managed to go up the ABV purely by chance, as you know I like to do. So that's the closest theme I've got. Yeah, just a couple of cold ones and finish on a stout. So I guess let's get the first one into the glass and see what we find. Because this show generally not about me, it's all about live beer reviews. So let's move in the traditional manner straight into beer number one, please. And beer number one there is a brewery I've featured a couple of times, having gone over to them, and I know regulars of this show know all about Indie Rabble over in Windsor, just underneath a railway arches approach to Windsor Station, or one of Windsor stations. This one is called 24-Hour Pineapple People. Love the name. So I picked up pineapple and lime sour, just to see how that pineapple and lime work together. So not a big fan of sours, but I still tried them because I like the fruit kind of aspect. Yesterday's sour was a massive fruit component. Less so on this one. A bit of dust there. Let's get into a glass. Whoa, big spurt of CO2 on the opening. Quite a lot of bubbly head development going on there. This one has been sitting in the stash a little bit too long, but I see the carbonation on it absolutely pouring up the glass there. What little bit there is of it I've managed to get in the glass. That's insane. Like I say, it's been sitting in the stash all year, so sometimes that happens. They get a little bit overexcited. Yeah, I don't do the whole fingers of Whitehead thing because it's kind of irrelevant, because it depends on when you pour and how you pour the glass. But yeah, there is a whole hand of head there. It's it's getting there slowly. It's a long old settle. A little bit like the ones the other day on the Buxton ones. I don't know if you saw them. They were all a little bit overcarbed. I think this one is just because it's been sitting around a little bit. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's settle down so we can do the photograph. Yeah, no idea how much this one was. But I picked it up from the tap room last summer, and I still haven't done that video of going over to drink a beer called Disco Taxi from them. It's one of the many videos that's kind of sitting around waiting for me to get me out our bottoming gear and get stuff done. But, yeah, does it matter? I'll get the video out eventually. Or I'll put it into, I might just encompass it in the other Disco Day videos because I'm still 3 behind on that. We've got another Disco Day coming up soon. I've just about got enough beers in for it. But before we get onto the Disco Days, we've got other stuff coming up next week. Busy old week this week. Yeah, probably might not get much other stuff out there. I've got a video lined up to come out, and I might not get much other live stuff because I've got a lot of work stuff going on. Doing a lot of work this week because hopefully over a good old Ealing Beer Festival. That is, as you can see, Ealing Beer Festival t-shirts with the volunteers t-shirts. It looks like we've sponsored the whole thing. Brewery sponsoring the t-shirts. So yeah, got those up in advance. I like the t-shirts, but yeah, I don't like. Where have I gone? Yeah, it was designed by our designer in-house, Mike. Yeah, I think that bit should be brighter, or at least a different colour, so you can actually read it, not white on a very pale minty green background. But what can I do? I'm just waffling, so this head dissipates. But yes, sponsorship for the beer festival, biggest beer festival in London, I believe, or is it the biggest outdoor beer festival? Not sure what they describe it as. I've seen the beer list. David Wilson briefly mentioned it yesterday. Quite a few Paravel beers. I was going to do a little rundown of that beer list at some point this week. Not quite sure that's going to be now. It might be Sunday or Monday, even as close, or even Tuesday. Just have a little look. I've got to check through the list and see if I've actually got any beers in cask. Very cask heavy festival, of course, being a camera festival. But there is a keg bar, so we've got some keg beers on there. We've got some very interesting stuff in cask, and a brief look at the list. There's some other interesting stuff there. So yeah, it's all outside in the park in Ealing. So we hope the weather will be okay. Not too hot, a bit like this. So we can all stand around and have a nice, well, it won't be a cold beer, but cold enough. They've got the cooling going on. So we'll have a few beers. Hopefully I'll get some posts up. Hopefully do some content. Might even see Rasko. You never know. If you don't get any content out of him, but I will ask. You never know, maybe. Joey, good evening to you. 4:20 on the East Coast of the USA. Oh, yeah. Timings. Joey. Yeah, just general chitter-chatter here now at the moment whilst I wait for this head to kind of do what it's meant to do. It's not quite time to go and get the spoon like I did on those I took them down now, those Buxton beers from last week, but it is what it is. Yeah, it's not that it's over carb. It's not the beer's fault. It's definitely because I've been sitting in the stash for a bit too long, and they tend to kind of, the carbonation gets a bit trapped in the can and can't go anywhere. So it just sort of builds up and builds up. I think is the theory. But as always, a good reminder from Henry 420. I think the 3 people that are in at the moment are subscribed. But if you're watching this after the event, please click like, subscribe buttons down below for that, etc. I say that as little as possible. Make sure just let Henry do it for me in the comments. Thank you for that, Henry, as always. Some beers out to him at some point to say thanks. You see, I've said it now. I have to do it, whether it happens or not. Maybe not this year, but got to sort it out. All right, that's all the beer in a glass. Let's do the photograph. No photograph reminder today. Not compulsory. It's fine. It's all right. Just got to remember it myself. Actually, I remembered to do the blinking intro correctly today. Did anyone notice I naffed up the intro yesterday? I forgot to play the actual intro to it. Just played the countdown. Like a dickhead. Anyway, let's get the photograph of this one. See if I get time tomorrow to do the write-up on Instagram. If you're not aware, we do Instagram. I do these reviews, then write them up on Instagram. I haven't given everybody a chance of watching it and going back and watching it. This one's not easy to photograph with a black can and that red writing. See, as I'm talking about t-shirts and not being able to read them, the can is kind of the same. Looks alright in the glass though. Nice kind of, pineapple-y kind of yellow colour. Oh, that's come up nice. Yeah, it works out on your portrait mode. Comes up kind of nice, so we'll go with that. The first time, vaguely in focus. Happy days. Let's move it over there right away. So yeah, 24-hour party, 24-hour pineapple people. Obviously, I play on that film. 24-hour party people. Talking of which, Mr. Wilson, good evening. Welcome along. Let's pop it in. If you've got a Tuesday tipple going on yourself, Henry's on the Star of Pramen, and I've gone to start off with, once again, second night in a row, sour beer. This one from your friends at Indie Rabble. This has been sitting in the stash a little bit too long, so it kind of just... I've been trying to find that right thing. I'm trying to do too many sours, and I have got too many sours sitting in the stash for my liking. But I've been trying to sort of find a way of fitting this into a theme, and in the end I've gone, sod the theme, let's just drink it. So let's see what we get now. That massive head has dissipated. The carbonation, can't see now, behind the haze. I think the aroma is still fresh enough, like fresh fruit, but it's kind of a little bit muted. Again, like I say, it's been sitting in my stash for at least 6, if not 8 months. That's my bad, nothing on the beer, but we still should be able to get something tasty out of it. Siren, just like Paradise. Again, Siren is a brewery I just haven't been back to enough recently, so I don't know that one. But yeah, fellow Berkshire beers, how appropriate. So yeah, I'm guessing there's going to be plenty of pineapple in this one. Let's have a look. Cheers. Hope you're having a good week. Cheers and enjoy the beers. Oh. Okay, I winced a little bit there. Oh, okay, I see what they've done. Yeah. Nice. Don't get me wrong, I winced a little bit. That's because of the sourness, not because I don't like the beer necessarily. The pineapple is kind of, it's like the opposite of what I was saying yesterday about that grapefruit beer, like the two components of lilt. This one is a much more muted pineapple, definitely there, quite juicy, but definitely rounded off and encapsulated by the lime. There is a cocktail, I don't know much about cocktails, but with lime, and is that mojito? No, that's with mint in it, but it's got lime in as well. Anyway, that lime has kind of encircled the pineapple a little bit, slightly overawed it. Sammy, good day to you, sir. Hope you're having a good week or good morning to you. Cheers. So yeah, I do a lot of pineapple beers, or it seems like I do a lot of pineapple beers. And I quite like pineapple in a beer, but I prefer it pale ale rather than a sour. I prefer the sweet kind of pineapple, even if it's a slightly less than, like, fresh pineapple's great, obviously, but any kind of pineapple note, I prefer it sweet rather than a kind of sourness. Do you know what I mean? Hey, we're kind of matching here. So that Siren, just like Paradise, gone for a lot of tropical fruit then. Tropical IPA, pineapple, passion fruit, and guava. I'm fine with that. That works for me. Sounds good. Sounds good. I'll tell you what it tastes like now. tin of pineapple chunks. There's a bit of juice at the bottom. It's definitely slightly, I don't know, is that slightly processed pineapple juice? I don't know. Either way, it's challenging. Like I say, the pineapple's kind of there, dips in and out. Kind of, it's a sort of, the lime kind of brings that sourness up as well. I like lime. So we're talking about citrus fruits in beer. The ones with yesterday with the grapefruit, I really want that pineapple to amp up. Yeah, this one, the lime is kind of not unattractively so, if you know what I mean, not kind of badly. It is just, it's not that it's unbalanced, it just generally feels like the lime has encircled the pineapple and kind of overawed it a little bit. But there's still pineapple there to find. When I say pineapple chunks, there's a difference between tinned pineapple chunks and those kind of sugary sweets. There's no sugary sweetness in this one. Yeah, it's definitely tinned pineapples, slightly stewed tinned pineapples, with a big dose of lime. The lime kind of sparkles. There's a little bit of sherbet there, and then there's a little bit kind of dank, limey citrus bitterness as well. Yeah, it's kind of what I was saying yesterday. I don't, sours should be kind of refreshing, mostly because they're fruited, and it's the fruit and the vitamin C that I find refreshing, not so much the sour note, because I always end up having kind of a bit of dry mouth at the end of it. Again, because of that slight lime imbalance across the pineapple, feels like a little drop of lemonade would, like, even with all the carbonation in there, now it's sort of flattened out a little bit. A little bit of lemonade would just bring the balance back up a little. I'm not going to go out and get the lemonade. The lime is, yeah, even if you get, yeah, I just want it to be in like a nice oaty smoothie IPA, even if I'm going to have lime. So nice drop, thicker body than I was expecting. That's always a good thing, I think. So nice, thick and chunky. Decent body on this one, I would say. It's I say fruity, juicy, and it's got some good character to it, and yeah, kind of wheaty, kind of sour body. 4.6%, so reasonable ABV on it. Let me just check on the side of the can. It says "Down with bad things." I agree. Brewing can indie Rabble in Windsor. Oh, okay. No, we're fine. This is interesting. This is an interesting way of doing it. I see that one. But even so, I'm guessing that's not printed. That's hand done with a marker. They've got a little grid of all the dates and gone and marked off. And it says, that won't focus, June of 2025. So it's 1st of July today. I'm not going to keep trying to focus that. 1st of July today. Nominally out of date yesterday, June 2025. So quite a long date. I think I picked this up fairly fresh back end of last summer then. So that's all right. And it tastes fresh enough. 24-hour party people, pineapple lamsa, 4.6%. I'll just say one word, pineapple. If you get it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. But you should probably read more. No hop information, possibly not a lot of hop because the ingredients are pineapple and lime. Doesn't quite say what they've used. Doesn't quite matter. So I don't think there's a lot of hop on it necessarily. I'm sure in Rabble are usually pretty good with their information, so if that's all there is, that's probably all that's in it. I can take big gulps now. I'm used to that kind of sourness. The sourness doesn't sound too refreshing, but yeah, if it's balanced issue, yeah, it's the fruitiness that I find refreshing, the vitamin C. The sourness, that's probably why I say I'm not a big fan of sours. They are pretty good. I like it. If I'm like at a beer festival or something, I'm probably going to start on an interesting fruited sour, something a bit different, not just any old sour. They generally are fruited sours. Or I'll put something in across the palate midway through. Do you know what I mean? If I'm hunting on too many dark beers or like end up with too many grapefruit heavy IPAs, get something sour in there to kind of balance it all out across the board. A little bit cloying there on the teeth at the back end now, but it's not a problem. This table is. Something decent, fruity, big fitsy hit. Pep me up a little bit. And relatively easy drinking. Kind of indie Rabble, kind of new on the scene in the last couple of years, and doing good things over in Berkshire. A guy's called Dave who runs it. Him and his wife also runs a couple of bottle shops, Maidenhead and Windsor. And then on the back of that, just kind of diversified, opened the brewery, went in under the railway arches in Windsor. I've been approached to the station. It's a bit like Bermondsey, but with slightly less breweries. You've got Windsor and Eton, indie Rabble, and then next door 2 Flints. So there's a lot of help, cohesion, and general Berkshire kind of helping each other out kind of thing. So we like what they do. Generally, the beers are pretty good, although they are kind of a little hop heavy for my palate. Don't see too many like stouts out of there particularly. It's all about the IPAs. But yeah, lovely little tap room, kind of on a little pedestrianised kind of road underneath the railway and the railway arches. Only been there once, and I hope to get back there this summer, but I hope to do a lot of things this summer and already haven't. Now we're halfway through the summer, halfway through the year, for crying out loud. So yeah, at some point, certainly not next week, a lot going on, so we shall see at some point, somehow. Anyway, yeah, nicely done sour. I see that lime for me is kind of a little bit edging it past the pineapple. But yeah, solid, really solid. Probably would have been better last summer, but I don't think it doesn't lose a lot. Definitely does not lose a lot for sitting in my stash for 8-9 months. Yeah, really good beer. Hasn't lasted long in a glass, really, is it? See that carbonation. Cheers. Yeah, well, follow that. See what we can do. As I said, like lime, but that might be a little bit too much against the balance of the pineapple. So, see what we get with the next one. Let's move fairly swiftly on. Battle free tonight, I think. Beer number 2, please. Beer number 2 is another one from the Vocation box. I've featured these guys several times since I got this box of Vocation in a few weeks ago. So this is a fairly fresh. Only been sitting in the stash 2 or 3 weeks, I think. And it is, let's change the banner, from Vocation Brewery up in Yorkshire. It's called Blue Yonder. It's 4.8% extra pale ale. So kind of dipping down a little bit, but it's still got some strength on it at 4.8. I really only picked this one out when I got the order because it's got blue in the name. And because I'm doing a lot of kind of beer themes with colours, I thought it might go with something else blue. Couple of really well-performing live shows. I've got old, blue, and new. I've got an old beer, a new beer, and something blue. So I haven't really achieved that with this one, and I was kind of running out of time this morning, so I went, that'll do. I want to know this extra pale ale thing, see just how pale it is and how that affects the flavours and stuff. So I thought I'd just put it in. See what we get out of it. See how extra pale it is. I mean, it'll be extra pale malt, otherwise known as pale malt, for the most part. So yeah, much more sedate on the carbonation, and there's still plenty racing up the glass into a very pale lemon straw coloured beer. bit more on the head development as we get to the top, but plenty of carbonation racing up that glass there. I can sit and watch that. It's like watching fire. Just see what's going on. But yeah, very pale colour. But that transmits into a pale flavour or not, I don't know. Yeah, big head development. And I still forgot. Weird can thing reminder. He's done his job, and I completely forgot to see it, and also forgot myself. So yeah, I've been trying for ages to do the weird can ballots that I used to do on Instagram a couple of years ago, and I keep forgetting about it. And this would have been perfect for it, but I completely forgot. So let's go with the photo reminder anyway, and let's do that. It's difficult with pale ales. I'm obviously not sure about find them. Often not a lot to say about pale ales. It's just, pale malt and some hoppiness, but we'll see. We'll do the photo anyway, see what we get hold of. Focus. Sorry, concentrating on that one. I could also put this one in the sun kind of category from last week. So we're still talking about the sunshine again today. Sort of blue sun on this one. There's far too many photos to choose from. And I don't think any one of them is in focus. Not quite enough focus for my liking. Fussy old bug, aren't I? Let's move over there a bit of shadow there as well, don't help. Just can't quite seem to get it right. It's good viewing, isn't it? I think I know what I was doing when I get a bit of lighting set up, but no, still hasn't. Still not having it. Keep saying move further away. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a fussy old git and I like the photograph to be in focus. Oh, there you go. Anyway, that head is not dissipating too much. It's nice. Dome kind of ice creamy kind of polystyrene almost kind of head on it. Still loads and loads of carbonation racing up that glass. So watch me burp my way through this one into the Coles glass of the favourite shape, of course. Cheers, let's see what we can smell. Okay, well, a certain amount of protection from that head development. Yeah, it does smell like kind of really light fruit juice. Not too much grapefruit, so I should be okay. See what we get from an extra pale ale. Cheers. Oh. I had brief thoughts going through my head of just bosh it down in one. It is light enough to do that. But then the grapefruit built and built and built and kind of defeated me, really. Don't know how clean that palate is after that lime, but no, there's definitely grapefruit. Bit of earthiness and yeah, like really light. Like I say, I always use this thing of like Robinson's barley water They don't do a grapefruit version, I don't think, but that's what I'm getting here. The body is smooth and thick enough. I think there's a little bit of oat in there to smooth it out a bit. You can see from the haze, still plenty of carb rising up there. So that's got going for it. But yeah, there's some standard sea hop stuff going in there. Maybe a bit of a Zaka or something like that. Again, I probably did look at the hops on this one and then put it in there anyway and then tried to forget about it. Yeah, I kind of only really ordered it because of the name and can wrap. I thought it would go into a blue thing or something against. I'd have something entitled Into the Wide Blue Yonder or something out of the Wide Blue Yonder, because I'd have to start with this. Yeah, so a little bit. I kind of knew it would be. I kind of guessed it might be a bit sort of, it's a pale ale from Vocation. There's going to chuck some, not that many hops at it, and it's going to be grapefruit. But you got to try these things, haven't you? What's that one yesterday? Yeah, the butterfly effect. I mean, this is not a supermarket beer from Vocation, but it's kind of heading down that line. It wouldn't surprise me if you don't eventually see this in a supermarket, because it is light, it is easy drinking, and if you like that grapefruit, if you like that, it's not quite dank, but it's a slightly cloying kind of resinous note to it. I mean, aided by a nice, smooth, creamy kind of head and reasonable bulk on the body of like kind of wheatiness and oatiness. But yeah, it's just grapefruit. I don't know if you watch Tweedy Pubs. I watch Tweedy Pubs, but he's out and out anti-grapefruit in beers, which is odd because you still get a lot of old English IPAs that are kind of earthy grapefruit note. But he's railing against craft putting it in a grapefruit. I don't entirely agree with him, but yeah, grapefruit. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. I mean, I sort of get tired of saying it, and I get tired of saying it, but I've got to try these things from reviewing beer. But it's kind of, yeah. Again, I used the discussion today we was having again because I popped into the brewery, and we was a new beer for the festival. And yeah, I said to my boss, I said to my brewer, I'm sorry. And I'll say it to Lucy as well from the Dodo, because it was the Dodo. It's just, yeah, like sucking on a grapefruit lead and a hacky sack. Soft enough, but just, yeah, I don't like grapefruit. The beer itself is good. This beer itself is pretty good. Big Kev, good evening and welcome. Thanks for popping in. Hope you got a beer on, or if not, no worries. Some refreshment of any kind in this, well, the hot weather we have here. Yeah, hope you're doing all right. Cheers. I am basically drinking a grapefruit juice bomb, so you don't have to, unless you like grapefruit. You work away. Definitely requires some lemonade. This, yeah, it needs a shandy, because I can get through it because it's perfectly decent beer. I was saying to Morris today that the pint I had initially, big sort of creamy, juicy grapefruit, and then it kind of settles a little bit. I don't like grapefruit burps. I don't think I'm getting grapefruit burps with this one, but I can just still feel that kind of slightly pithy, earthy, bittery kind of grapefruit. I say light enough to take big gulps and get it down. Why do I have a 3 times crown on my name? I don't know. If you do, I can't see it. It must be a YouTube thing. I think I can't see it because I'm through StreamYard rather than YouTube. And if I put on YouTube, maybe, I don't know. Special contributor. I don't know. There's a little bit of savoury herbiness going on there. Before I go and get the lemonade, let's see if I misjudged this entirely. So we know about Vocation up in Leeds. Well, no, not Leeds. They're Hebden Bridge, aren't they? Up in Yorkshire. All right, so Blue Yonder, it says this bright and breezy extra pale ale is a thirst quencher. It really isn't. Well, it is if you like that sort of thing, but bursting with vibrant and fruit-forward hops. Well, yes, we can tell it's hop fruit because of all the grapefruit. It was described to me today that maybe I'm missing the point. It can't always be grapefruit. Maybe it's kind of that bittery stone fruit, like sucking a peach stone dipped in grapefruit juice. Right, lively citrus. Okay. Well, lovely citrus. Doesn't necessarily say citra, but lively citrus and sweet melon lead the way. Okay. I would struggle to get that, but yeah, I suppose the lightness of the body and kind of is a little bit kind of honeydew melon kind of thing going on. Only in body rather than flavour so much, surrounded by all that citrus and grapefruit. Lively citrus and sweet melon lead the way, followed by juicy waves of pineapple. There's no pineapple or mango for me, not on my palate. If it's mango, I want it to be mango. Pineapple, there's sort of vague tropicality to it rather than being pineapple for me anyway. It's just grapefruit. Subtle hints of tart red currant. Okay, maybe that's the kind of dank outer edge, perhaps. And crisp white grape. So there's a bit of Nelson Sauvignon in here, maybe. And a touch of elegant complexity, all wrapped up in a smooth light malt base for an effortlessly refreshing finish. I don't know. Oh no, hang on, here we go. Got that wrong. Tasting notes: fruity, citrus, and crisp. I'll give them that. Hops: Eldorado, Crush, and Enigma. Enigma is not one I get very often. Reading Craigrowell, Hebden Bridge. Please pour carefully. Well, I tried. Suitable for vegans, obviously. Let me see. What does it say on here? Best before 04/2026. Like I said, I picked it up in a box recently, so fairly fresh. Yeah, all those tasting notes I just don't get. It's just, again, I'm not saying it's their fault. It's me. It's my palate. But that's what I get. It's a YouTube thing related to interaction for the channel. More crowns, the better. David Wilson should have quite a lot of crowns above his name in that case. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that one. Cheers, Sharky. Anyway, by the way, cheers. Thanks for popping in. Got another grapefruit beanbag smacked in the face here. Now I've seen those tasting notes, I can vaguely see the melon. There's a little bit of fleshiness there. Not really in flavour. It's just grapefruit. White grape. Maybe there's a little bit of white wine on the outer edges, but there's no real grape note for me. Was the other red currant? I never get red currant. Maybe there is a kind of, maybe that's in that grapefruit kind of category of sort of dank, earthy bitterness. But yeah, doesn't really work that out for me. Big Kev is drinking some new Audi beers, 7% plus. Nice. Most of them Stuart Brewing and Loch Lomond. Decent for the money. Are you in an up north style? Because I don't really. My Audi is tiny, and we don't really get a lot of the releases that the nationals and some of the bigger stores do. So I have to travel further afield, and even then, I don't see so much Stuart and Loch Lomond down this way in northwest London. But despite Audi releases, I quite like Stuart Brewing and Loch Lomond. Yes, I don't chase them, but yeah, I had a lot of fun trying to find them in Audi. Again, some reasonably good stuff. Supermarket beers are what they are. I kind of, tend to try and avoid them, but inevitably I'll look in it. I don't spend a lot of time in supermarkets, but if I happen to be in one, I'll see something and I've got the capacity to carry it home, then I'll pick something up. And Stuart Bread and Loch Lomond, I've had some good stuff from them. See if I can remember this. I should write this down these times so that I can add them in afterwards. I did a Loch Lomond one a long time ago. But there you go. Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to get some lemonade. Sorry, you talk amongst yourselves. Are you the one who used to appear on Real Ale Craft Beer? No, I did not used to appear on Real Ale Craft Beer channel, although I may well have popped up in the comments on a regular basis. He has mentioned me occasionally in the comments. I did accidentally end up on a video of his in a beer festival a couple of years back, which is fine, but no problem. That's grand. It was kind of accidental, not planned. But yeah, no, I used to pop up in the comments and say hello, and I didn't really put my two penneth in because his comments were so hard to read. You never ever knew whether he's actually going to get written out. So I didn't like to use my best material, but yeah, I have done now and again. Maybe that's where we recognise the name from. To be fair, Real Ale Craft Beer's been doing some interesting stuff recently, finding some different locations, mainly because his house is a building site. And do some beers down on the beach. I've been trying to get out and do some on location stuff. It's just a case of trying to get out and about. But yeah, I'm going to go and get out and about as far as the beer stash and grab a bottle of lemonade and just, there's not a lot left. I could push through it, but it's just... Now, I know everybody might be going, you can't be putting lemonade in a craft beer. You can. But it's like, the way I look at it is it's a bit like when you get a whiskey. Some of the tasting notes for whiskey, I know because I've been looking into whiskey briefly. I'm not into whiskey. Whiskey, there's tasting notes for when you dilute it with water, which always seems a complete sort of a little bit of an anathema to me. But yeah, whiskey lovers put a drop of water in their whiskey and it dilutes and dissipates some of the flavors. So for me, putting lemonade in a craft beer, really for me, it just gets the citrus flavors back to kind of lemon, which is my preferred citrus, alongside orange and lime to a certain extent. Not so much in that way that sour did it, but that I was seriously considering a little lemonade to redress the balance. This one wasn't out of balance, but a drop of lemonade does wonders. Brings up all those flavors. I can see the melon a little bit more now, a little bit of honeydew melon going on. Mad Mob Music Official. Greetings, thanks for popping in. Hope you're doing all right and having a great week. I'm Disco, just generally chatting about the beers and seeing what I find. Need to be careful with water and whiskey, can kill the taste. Well, I'm only going off friend of the channel, friend of mine. We did an interview. Rasko did an interview with him. He runs a whiskey company now. And in fact, I bought some whiskey yesterday, only because of the most tenuous of beer links. And whiskey and beer are fairly well linked because the process is roughly the same, certainly on the brewing side until the distillation part. But I don't. He's tried on many occasions. I pop around and try his whiskey, not for a long time, by the way. But yeah, so now he runs a whiskey company, and I thought I'd buy his whiskey because it's kind of tenuously beer related. So hopefully at some point that will become. I only bought a little taster of the whiskey because it came with some other spirits as well that looks actually more appetizing to me than the whiskey. Don't tell him, but that's just how it is. You know me so well. No, They didn't have a whiskey with disco in the name. That's not how it came about. It's generally because I know the guy who runs the whiskey company, and he's been trying to get me into whiskey at some point. And because it's his whiskey and because it's beer adjacent, I won't give the game away too much. It's another brewery and distilling business. And again, I don't know too much about whiskey, but it's a blending thing. So I thought it'd make an interesting beer adjacent. And if nothing else, the video just me be going, no, that's disinfectant. So it is. But that's generally what I think about whiskey. He's tried to, and the whiskey tasting notes generally fairly adjacent to beer reviewing kind of thing. You look for all those kind of individual flavors, and for whiskey, I've just never got it. It's just been kind of, I don't want to say domestos. That's really unfair, but yeah, it's because it's high ABV, spirity kind of mess on my palate. And again, that's not because it's bad. It's just how my palate is or whatever. So I will try whiskey. I'll give it a go. But there was also brandy in the pack. That sounds much more my kind of thing. Hey up, Jamie, how you doing? Welcome along. Hope you're having a great week and you've got some beers on. Do let us know what you're drinking if you are. Appropriately enough. Being the Yorkshire logo from Jamie. Welcome back. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, got a Vocation on. Not really enjoying it that much. I've kind of dissipated it with a little bit of lemonade. Shandy the Vocation. Who does that? Me, I do. And you got him from work. Thank fuck for that. Well, I know your thing. I went out for a cycle ride the afternoon, cycled down the canal and ended up at work, and then ended up doing a couple of hours of actual work. But when you work at a brewery, you know what I mean? It's kind of occupational hazard. Did a little bit of beer tasting, obviously. You know how it goes. Only professional drinkers drink whiskey. Mark Jones, welcome along. Thanks for popping in. How you doing, sir? Only professional drinkers drink whiskey. Us pissheads drink beer. Yeah, I mean, a few pints, and then some. It used to be on a few pints, a dozen or so at the weekend, and then finish up when there was no more space in the belly on a spirit or two. But I could never really get into whiskey. Despite, as I say, Matt giving it a go, giving me a fair crack of the whip. Just a can of Coke. I don't drink in a week. Fair play. I probably wouldn't normally on a Monday, Tuesday, but this is my day off. This is technically my Sunday night, essentially. Being I'm going into work tomorrow, although I had gone into work today completely accidentally. Yeah, I don't do a kind of Monday to Friday. I tend to do Wednesday to Sunday. And in fact, I actually had Sunday off. So I wasn't working Sunday, but I've got a lot of days. I've got a lot of days coming up on the bounce leading up to the beer festival next week. Shock! Welcome to the Disco and Shandy Arms. I'm not afraid to say I'm putting lemonade in a beer if it don't taste right. It's a perfectly good beer. I just want to get them tasting notes back a bit further to the lemon end of citrus. It's just how it is. Slate me in the comments if you're watching after the event. These gentlemen, are being very kind and not particularly slating me, despite that sharp comment. But yeah, if you want to slate me in the comments afterwards, you work away. You know what I mean? I got a beer. I don't care. Yeah. Shandy, I'm not shandying it because I want a light in the drink. I just want to get the tasting notes back to something more palatable, because it is, for me, despite all those tasting notes I just read out on the can of melon and red currant and all that jazz, for me, it's just a mouthful of grapefruit. So I want to get it back to more the lemon and the citrus so that I can kind of get through it, because I'm really, really looking forward to the third beer. Again, for the second night in a row, really looking forward to last night's beer. I'm gonna shout it out again because I've so enjoyed it last night. For those that weren't here, check this out. My nan's gonna love her secular soul from Pomona Island, salted chocolate and rosemary stout. Yes, rosemary. Basically, it feels like they've done is liquidize some sea salt covered pretzels dipped in chocolate, and added a little bit of Bailey's, and it was just really, really nice. Really nice. Now, slate me for the beer. You don't need to slate me for being a Plymouth fan. I get enough of that myself. Do you know what I mean? You'd know about getting slated as a Leeds fan, do you know what I mean? But here we go. We can do this banner all day. It's great. It's good fun. Yeah. Hey, listen, things are happening at Plymouth. Not sure what, but yeah. You carry on, Mark. You carry on, sir. Right, so I'm going to knock this back because I'm really looking forward to this stout. I don't want to take up too much of your time on a Tuesday night. But it's better than watching EastEnders, isn't it? Even though when EastEnders is on, to be honest. Trying to multitask. Good man. We're out of chat. Multitask, drinking, eating, smoking. Lee's menu, pre-season friendlies. No, that would probably be cancelled due to lack of interest, I would think. Try resist. Oh yeah. No, I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm just gonna wash this back. Cheers, all. Like I said at the top of that glass, I considered doing up all the way down from top just to get it out of the way. But yeah, makes it much easier with lemonade. So fair play. That's what I'm doing. Yes, I believe it is. I don't watch it myself, basically because I don't own a TV. But yeah, they're still doing the same old shit. People killing each other and cussing each other and stealing from each other and all that jazz. So yeah, I've not watched EastEnders properly for a long time. Fair play, man. Yeah, take it easy, dude. For all me taking a piss, yeah. There it goes, right, and you get back to full match fitness, full drinking fitness, as soon as possible. Yeah, I don't really. I'm too busy. I haven't completed YouTube yet. I ain't got time for TV. Even beer related stuff. The odd quiz show and the odd comedy show. Like I said, I don't even own TV. I'll go around the corner to watch TV, and I watch about 3 hours a week, probably. Too busy drinking beer as well. Don't need TV when you got a beer on. Right, let's cleanse the palate for this kind of potential madness coming up. Again, a big stout with lots of flavours to pick out. So hopefully on much safer ground. Yeah, same. Not watch mainstream TV for years. YouTube is I didn't even watch mainstream. Like you get some like repeats on ITV and stuff like that, but Channel 4 do a thing on YouTube, so I do watch occasional stuff from that. I haven't got the attention span as well. Yeah, exactly likewise. Yeah, it gets better soon. Oh, harsh. No, Championship. I was really pleased with watching quite a lot of Argyle on Championship on TV. I had to leave the Disco Arms to do it, but yeah, I should imagine there'll be a fair bit. They'll pick Sheffield United out, won't they? As much as you'll get Leeds on, I should imagine. Even League One, we might see a little bit of Argyle on TV. In League One this season, I think. Glutton for punishment. I mean, congratulations, Jake. Right, anyway, moving swiftly on, as quick as possible. So, beer number 3, please. I didn't do that in the usual style, did I? Anyway, beer number 3, mad little stout going on. Collab between. Oh no, I've missed it. Oh no! Oh shit! Where's that gone? Oh no! That was yesterday's. All right, let's do the banner. I thought I'd done this. I swear I'd done this. Maybe I hadn't. Right, so it is Salt Beer Factory. Just salt. And my beloved Turning Point Brew Co. So, and all a Yorkshire collaboration, since we have 2 Yorkshiremen in the house. It is called, what's it called now? Oh yes, Aztec Death. Was it Aztec Death Whistle? Definitely some connotations to that. It is 9.5%, and it is a dark fruit chocolate mud cake stout. I think I got that right. Dark fruit. Yeah, dark fruit chocolate mud cake stout. So, expecting some of those notes to come through. If it's as good as yesterday's, I'm going to hit all of those notes. That would be fabulous. Out of water, so I'll try the old lemonade palate cleanser trick. Right, yeah, quite a mouthful. Salt Beer Factory and Turning Point Brew Co. Aztec Death Whistle. Aztec Death Whistle. I keep saying Death Wish. Dickhead. Aztec Death Whistle. Dark fruit chocolate mud cake stout. So let's get this can of madness into the glass. Wow. Good bit of fizz on the opening. Not too much on the CO2. Let's see what we get. Oh dear. Yeah, after yesterday's, it poured out into absolutely almost chocolate milkshake. This one started off a little bit Coca-Cola. Makes me think, have I missed any of the roll it around instructions on the side of the can? Because it's getting a little bit thicker now. Really fizzy head development. I expect that to dissipate fairly quickly. Looks a bit thicker on the back end of the pour there. Absolutely dark into the glass and kind of tan-ish head going on. Exactly, yeah. Cashier number 3, please. Beer number 3, please. Yeah, I'm thinking supermarket, but you're right. It's post office pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, I really like the artwork. I love the name. I've had this in the stash far too long. Again, it's from last year. I keep trying to work out a theme for it, and now it's just, again, it's been there too long. I would be surprised if it was still in nominal date. Could be a Death Wish. That's, yeah, I think I got that right. It was 8.5. Doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, 9.5. Probably shouldn't do that on what's effectively a Sunday night with work in the morning, but I haven't got a massively early start. Let's get the photograph away before that dissipates too much. It's kind of, yeah, it's kind of slightly gone a little bit now with the sort of bubbliness of the head. I'm going to have to do a kind of low angle shot to get the head. I'm always a little bit disappointed and a little bit surprised at Turning Point, less so at Salt, that you get that kind of head dissipation. You think it's a really good 9.5% stout, although with the higher ABV, I can sort of see why. I mean, the one yesterday was like 6.5 almost. Really difficult to photograph with the gold on red on black. Yeah, so it sort of disappoints me slightly when that happens. But we shall see on the flavours. If the flavours are there, then fine. Stouts don't have to be thick and lush and smooth. Yeah, I'm not ever gonna get. Let's try it the other side. Never gonna get the light on those words down the bottom, mostly because it travels too far around. Let's go again. Won't be long. Let's get the Turning Point T-shirt in the background as well. Could be there all night, and I don't think it's ever going to get any better, to be honest. So yeah, I think Salt and Turning Point have collabed a fair bit over the years because, you know, they're only down the road. Turning Point in Knaresborough, Salt in Saltaire. Yeah, so I like the breweries. Definitely like Turning Point. I talk about them a lot. So yeah, a nice dark kind of coloured stout. Gone a bit thin, head's dissipated, but let's see what we can smell. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's my Sunday night, so it's essentially Stout Sunday, essentially. I say I've got a bit of work too early in the morning, so I'm not talking crack of dawn, so should be okay. The other two are kind of light, it's all right, you know what I mean? Yeah, superb. Superb can. We'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. This is a weird thing to say. I can sort of smell the thinness, but I can also smell a kind of spirity kind of edge to it. There's a kind of, it's like bourbon barrel aging going on there for that 9%. It isn't barrel aged. I mean, there might be some at Turning Point because Turning Point are really, really big on their barrel aging program, especially in the stouts. Oh, let's get rid of some of that carbonation. Lemonade burp's not grapefruit, which is good. Let's see what we can get here. I've been looking forward to this one far too long. I think I'm going to get disappointed, but let's give it a go. Some like cocoa kind of chocolate notes going on there. Yeah, it's sort of that spiritiness, bordering on, bordering on white spirit, battery acid, but really muted. I probably not explaining that really well. It doesn't smell bad. It's just it's got that spirity edge to it. Anyway, enough sniffing. Let's get it down and see where we go. Cheers. A big beer to finish. Why not? Who cares? Okay. I don't know if it's because I've read the word dark fruit and in my head I've got dark fruits and I'm thinking strongbow, or I can genuinely taste some plum, blackberry, possibly a little bit of blackcurrant kind of Kirsch style spirit. Um, it's it's not as bad as I first thought with that thinness. It's got some big notes to it. But yeah, no, there does feel like a little bit of plum porter going on, and then there's that kind of slightly bittery kind of plumstone kind of note, kind of damsony kind of, and that kind of black currant. Like I said yesterday, with that echoes had black currant in it, and you could taste the black currant. And I find black currant just a bit tart and bitter. Um, but yeah, not so much on the chocolate. More sort of, it's one of those where it's just that kind of roasty, kind of bitter chocolate edge. But it's too thin to be decadent chocolate. That one yesterday, that was proper. Like I say, it was like a dairy milk in a glass and a half of dairy milk in every glass, in every sip. This one is more, it's more Coca-Cola without actually being Coca-Cola. It's got that kind of sweetness. That fruit is definitely there. That kind of damson plum, blackcurrant, maybe a bit of blackberry is kind of there, or thereabouts in that kind of dark spirit. Not quite cherry brandy, but more cassis, whatever. Black, I don't know what's blackberry spirit. Each spirit has a different name with different fruits, doesn't it? It's a good trainer, palate trainer. If I actually get around to doing the whiskey, I don't think I'll do the whiskey this week. I won't get time. I won't go with time. Say 5 days straight at work now, so 6, I think. Yeah, 6 because I'm doing Monday as well. I've got to deliver all the casks to the beer festival on Monday. And then it's straight into beer festival. So yeah, is it OF? What's OFD? Is that some kind of tech speak I don't understand? Sorry, Jamie. Genuinely, what is OFD? OFD. OFD. That's a quiz question I really should know, isn't it? Gonna have a little bit more sips. It's getting better now. It's getting better because initially it feels really thin. It is thin, but as we say, stout does not have to be thick and lush and Guinness like, or even chocolate decadence like that. There's not a whole heap of like I say, dairy milk chocolate to it. It's definitely more kind of Mexican kind of high end kind of chocolate going on. It's kind of a showstopper. It makes you think. It's one of those where, like, unlike the Vocation where they put all those tasting notes and I couldn't get a thing. There's lots of kind of, like I say, spirity edge going on with a little bit of kind of like bittery. It's definitely green and black. It's kind of dark chocolate going on. And yet there's still a balance of flavours across it. It's at 9.5%. I get the ABV thing. It's not one I'm going to be boshing down too quick. It's definitely one to sit back and sip and savour. I want a little bit more to it, but it's 9.5%. I always look at 9.5%, these high ABV stouts and think, oh, that's going to be decadent, delicious, luscious. And I feel a little bit let down when it isn't. I shouldn't, because that's not fair. Like I say, also, this has been sitting in me stash a little bit. Maybe it was thicker and lusher at the start. But yeah, it's a high ABV sipper with a bit of spiritiness. I'll tell you what it reminds me of. What's that? The Czech plant. It's like a plum brand. Slivovich. Have you ever had a high strength plum brandy in Czech Republic and they sell it at the airport? Not necessarily quality, but yeah, Slivovich. That's what I'm getting from this. Like a lot of double IPAs, I end up saying is vodka and grapefruit juice, but 8% dippers and stuff. This is like plum brandy kind of territory. It was in the fridge all afternoon and I took it out when I got home. So it's been kind of room strength warming for the last hour, which I think helps that fruit development, helps that chocolate note, has that spirity edge. It doesn't need to be like fridge cold, particularly, unlike the lighter beers, but as it's warming, I'm warming to it. It's got that brandy kind of spirit, and it's going away from the chocolate. The more I think about it, it's going much more towards fruit and spirit and away from the chocolate. There's no cake. The mud cake, I mean, what is mud cake? I'm not sure. Is that like, it's like a chocolate ganache kind of thing? So it's like creamy, smooth chocolate. And there's not a lot of that. There's a good sweetness to it, but that feels like it more comes from the fruit and spiritiness. And then as soon as I said that, there is that kind of, because of that initial thinness, I've gone away from that kind of chocolate cake thing, but it is there. But it's not sponge cake. It's not chocolate gâteau kind of cake. It's more kind of cheesecake, tart thing. So yeah, those dark fruit notes are just sort of bubbling away in the background. Really interesting. I'm warming to it as it's warming, and it is kind of warming. It's not a summer beer for any. Like I said about that one yesterday. Sitting in front of a fire in the autumn straight winter, just keeping warm and being warmed by the decadence of the beer. This is warmed by the spirity notes of the beer. I like it. It's nice. I think it's one of those beers where 3/4 of the way through, those spirity notes kind of take over and it kind of just sort of, I can't drink it quickly, but eventually it just becomes sort of a spirity, I don't say mess. It's a good beer. From Two Brews, you really know what they're doing. I mean, Turning Point know what they're doing in a big high ABV stout. We've seen that with all the dark matter custard stuff that come in at 10 and 12%. That spirity edge might be too much. Further down, yeah, it's definitely got that kind of plum brandy, Slivovich kind of. Let's see what they say on the thing. There'll probably be warnings like, probably don't need a 440, could manage in a 330, but more barley oats. Doesn't feel like a lot of oats in there, but maybe that's the oats doing enough to smooth it out a little bit, but it's still got that thinness. But yeah, oats, wheat, lactose. Doesn't feel like a lot of milk, kind of. Maybe that's just the sweetness. Hops and yeast. No, that's fine. How many put? Hey, UK medical officers recommend adults do not regularly exceed 14 units a week. 30 years of drinking, still couldn't tell you what a unit is, and also I don't really care. Just enjoy the beers. Right, craft mastery, down to earth delivery. It says a lot of writing on this one. Let's get through it. Our name is Salt, after the pioneering industrialist who built the mill and village we first called home. Happy to know that's called Titus Salt. The invented like the refining of like table salt in the town of Saltaire. Anyway, it was from here we ventured out into the brewing world, equipped with only a single punchy vision: make great craft beer for everyone and do it our way. As opposed to Saltaire Brewery is much more kind of kind of traditional beers, whereas Salt Beer Factory is more craft. Tired of following tradition, funny enough, we go where our brewing instincts take us. London, mostly. Anyway, shamelessly combining heritage and modern craft brewing and modern brewery craft, crossing styles, exploring new ingredients, and producing many award winners along the way. When it comes to crafting beer and pursuing our own evolution, we're pushing on at pace, we're growing, and so is our selection. There's now a whole world of great salt craft beers just waiting for you to reach out and try. Don't thank us, like the beer, it's a pleasure. A lot of words, far too many for me. Ding, 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 ding. Henry's in to remind to like and subscribe. Button specifically for that down below. Thank you very much indeed. Public service announcement from Henry420. There's a bit post office as well, isn't it? Right, it then goes on to talk about Aztec death whistle. Say a lot of words. Right, a dark and eerie skull-shaped musical instrument. Okay. The instruments are known as whistles of death because historians believe that they were used to help guide sacrificial victims on their journey to the afterlife. The perfect name for a dark and murky forest fruit laced ultra decadent mudcake stout. We've unleashed some of the finest Central American cacao nibs, or is it cocoa? Always get confused with that one. And various forest fruits to create a silky smooth chocolate stout with a dark twist. There you go. They don't actually say what those forest fruits are, which is a shame. I'm just going to have to guess. See, this is the weird thing. Now, both Salt and Turning Point have been in supermarkets, and so Vocation, and I often say about this whole natural flavourings thing. I see it a lot of Vocation and North, and Brew one the other day. Natural flavourings. This doesn't taste like natural flavourings. It just tastes fairly natural fruit, but they don't actually say what the fruits are. It just says forest fruits. I'm thinking there's also maybe a bit of raspberry in there, but it doesn't say what or how much, which annoys me slightly because when I'm doing this kind of blathering on about what I can taste, I'm saying I think I can taste plum, I think I can taste blackberry, maybe blackcurrant, and now I'm thinking raspberry. I want to then look at the can and have that confirmed or denied, and you lot can say, you're a dickhead, this guy, you don't know what you're talking about. it just would be nice. All this blether, I don't need all this blether. I just need you to tell me what's in the beer. Just a little hint for yourself. Turning Point are usually quite good on their cans, but they're obviously the invited to this party. So they don't really get to choose, I suppose. Yeah, again, oats and lactose is quite surprising because they're not fully on it. But yeah, they don't say what the fruits are apart from forest fruits, or have they got some kind of forest fruits natural flavourings thing going on in there? Either way, the fruit note is really good on this one. Slightly more so than the chocolate. It doesn't live up to the description from what you said. Well, it sort of does, because the fruitiness is there, but the description doesn't really say what those fruity notes are. And I'm not getting a massive amount of milk chocolate. And again, I'm sort of comparing it to last night's, where there was a big dairy milk kind of flavour note to it. I'm not getting a lot of cake. There's definitely a bit of chocolate there, a bit of cacao nibs rather than chocolate. No real coffee. A lot of sweetness, but I think it's fruit sweetness rather than lactase. Again, not a lot of lactase. It sort of does, but doesn't quite match their description. And again, I'd like to know what the fruits are. It gives a good, like I say, a good spirity edge, a good buzz. Yeah. Let's have a look. I wonder. I mean, at 9.5%, it's going to be fine. Date wise, even if it is past it. Oh, okay. No, we're good. Best before. Oh no, best before 24th of June, 2025. So we're again a week past, but for a 9.5%, a week is nothing, isn't it? Really. Would have been better last year, maybe. At 9.5%, that's fairly nominal. I didn't look. I mean, this won't be on the website, so I haven't looked at any of them. Let's have a little look. I didn't look at any of the others websites because I forgot. Let's have a quick look at Indie Rabble, since we did that for the first one. I just like to look at the shop, see what they've got in, see if there's anything I've missed, and see if the beer I've got is on there. Little bit disappointed on that with Indie Rabble, because again, it sort of doesn't show too much information. You have to click on stuff. Yeah, hoity-toity, I'm going to have a look at. I don't know what that is. Hold Your Horses is another one I want to. American Pale Ale, Amarillo. Expect grapefruit. Yes, I do. Hold Your Horses, I want to have a quick look at. Internet's been really slow today. I don't know about for you guys, but everything I've tried to look up today takes a long time. I like the beer names from Indie Rabble. Collab with Vibrant Forest, another beer I've got to get onto. Heavily dry hop with new hop crush. Stampede of peach, orange, and lemon citrus top notes, saddling a tropical base. I like the sound of that. I like the can. Not buying beer at the moment, so not going to risk it. Festoon Octopus. Hot with Citron, Nelson, White Grape, Peach, and Passion Fruit. Oh, on my palate, grapefruit. I can never get grape from Nelson. Cactus Culture. Cascade. Oh, hop, Eldorado and Mochueka, big tropical stone fruit flavour, i.e. grapefruit. Anyway, I could be there all day. I came to look at Tiny Vine. Yeah, I like the idea of it. I don't think I tried it when I was there. I don't think it was on. Let's have a quick look now at Salt, because I lined it up. I don't think this one will be on there. Yes, I am. Right. Oh, hello. Oh, yes. I haven't tried that banoffee one from Gravity Well the other day. I did notice this one from Salt and also the one from Buxton. So maybe I'll do a banoffee bake-off. Too much beers. Too much beers. All beer. Show me all the beer. Yeah, so quite like the Salt kind. You've seen them in supermarkets. It's kind of core range stuff. Fairly simple, bright colours, but with some kind of little bit of complexity of background on that. Nothing there stands out for me. All good, solid range, core range stuff. It's the speciality things I'm kind of interested in. These specials. That banoffee one, 7% of £4 sounds like a good deal. Depending on how thick and lush that is, it's never going to be that Gravity Well one that I had the other week. Dragon Fruit, I keep seeing about Dragon Fruit IPA. Interested in that. Again, not a sour. Often the Aztecs do like a Dragon Fruit sour that's kind of big, thick, red and luscious. Interested. Better Call Saul. That's a good name. Better Call Saul. They do a lot of kind of in the speciality stuff. A lot of kind of heavy metal kind of style artwork, I would say. Rice Lager. The Poison Hazy IPA, 6.66%. That's another theme. Collecting beers, 6.6%, but I can't. That coffee liqueur stout I had a while back. It was good. And 4%, it's not a bad shout if you see that in the supermarkets. A lemon thyme saison. Say, had a thyme rosemary beer yesterday. Lemon and thyme, that sounds interesting. That blackcurrant crush looks nice, but it's blackcurrant, so it will instantly kill my taste buds. Yeah, so a lot of good stuff. I could get a small order out of Salt there. Again, with the speciality stuff. Saisons I'm not fussed on generally, but I like when they mess about with the flavours. Lemon and thyme sounds really interesting. I'd try a blackcurrant crush, maybe. Drip. This fact it's got double dry hopped and neep on it instantly puts me off. But some good stuff from Salt. They may be a little, I don't know, do they get a little under the radar, a little underrated, having been in supermarkets? I don't know. Let me know what you think from Salt. I'm not going to look at Turning Point because I often do. And we did the other day and there wasn't a lot left that I hadn't talked about. So, yeah, a good lineup of beers, I think, today, given a wide range of different flavours. All good breweries, all good beers, not necessarily sitting on my palate particularly well. Pick of the bunch is this one because there's so much going on. Big, strong, spirity edge, lots of fruit flavours. Pick of the bunch for me. You can tell I'm interested in these beers because I try and keep it down to an hour, so not to take up too much of your time. And we're knocking on an hour and a half on 3 beers, which is good. It means I'm not drinking quick. I've just got a lot to talk about on this third one. I've done half an hour on this because there's a lot there. It's not as bad as like I've made it sound because of its thinness. It's not massively milk chocolate note, but there is a good. Now it's warmed again as well, a bit more. There's definitely a very dark, decadent chocolate ganache thing going on in the later stage. There wasn't that initially. I first poured it. I do like it, and might have sounded a little bit critical. That fruit note kind of comes through initially, Less so now. There's a bit more chocolate. Definitely pick at a bunch from these three. Won't trouble my non-existent beer of the year because of having that one from Pomona Island yesterday. And that's kind of the amount of wow moments I got out of that challenged probably the Gravity Well Boots Void, that absolute, creme fraiche chocolate ganache. Some would say monstrosity because it looked like a brown canal water, but chocolate milkshake. It was so nice. I had so many things to say about this. This one's kind of up there in the speciality adjunct heavy stouts category, which I like. I know it's not everybody's thing. When they're doing, I don't know, they're doing some fairly adjunct heavy stuff. I say that at Salt anyway. That coffee liqueur stout. It was in supermarkets. I picked up a can a few weeks back. I will, if I can get back onto the link and put a link to that one up here, if I can. It's still really, really warm, so I don't necessarily need a warm liqueur stout at this point, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. Thank you to everybody in the comments coming along for the ride and either taking a mick and having a laugh and just enjoying watching me talk about beers. Yeah, Mark Jones, take care, sir. Have a good one. Night. Enjoy the rest of the week. I don't know what I'm doing for the rest of the week. I'm probably not doing a stream tomorrow night. I've got a load of wit beers lined up for Wednesday wit, but I don't think I can tomorrow because I'm brewing tomorrow. So it could be a long day. It's going to be a double brew day this week. I'm going to brew the same beer Thursday and Friday into the big tank. And then after that, we're on the bar. So for the weekend. So I might not get any other actual live streams away this week. I might try one on Thursday because Thursday should be less. I've got some beers lined up. We'll see what happens. I've got some beers lined up for next week, but I might not get too much next week because hopefully I'll be over at Ealing. Might try some live streams from there. We'll see. So if I don't see you again for a while, I'll be on the Instagram posting these at some point. Might get one away Monday night if I can. I'm thinking of, I haven't really confirmed yet, but maybe volunteering at Ealing and going and helping out with the setup. I'm not quite sure where my skills lie, although I'm on the bar at the weekend. I don't fancy going and serving at the beer festival because I'm much better on this side of the fence drinking and talking about it. So, but I might go and do the setup Monday and Tuesday. They always need some pair of hands. I might just shift some casks onto stillages and put the jackets on or something like that. I don't know. We shall see. So I may or may not get something done Monday night. Either way, whatever happens, I'll be back at some point. Some good alcohol legs on that. Some kind of minimal lacing, but it's there. It dissipates. Yeah, I'm going to sit back and have a little think and enjoy the rest of the fruit note on that one. Mr. Wilson, I will probably see you there. As long as I can work out the rota for the bar and try not to, as long as I can avoid being on the bar on Friday, I should be over at Ealing. I'll cycle over there and I'll give you a shout and we'll get some beers on. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you there. In the meantime, have a great rest of the week and we'll catch you on the next one as soon as we can. And as always, cheers and enjoy the beers. As always, it's all about the beer. It's not about me. It's definitely about the beer. Cheers. Cue the outro.